Hi, everybody. Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope for this week's Week in Review. I'm going to say it every time because that's what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to do it. Like and subscribe. Click the bell so that you're notified every time we go live for days like Mondays, which is the Week in Review. And what do? We go over all the things we posted in the prior week. Even though this last prior week was a very different type of week, it's still going to be really fun to talk about. And it gives you an opportunity to comment, to leave questions, to give us your thoughts, to interact. It's a lot more interactive than it would be just on a Facebook post or a website post or what have you. But by subscribing and by clicking the bell, you'll find out when we go live with guest speakers. You'll find out when we have survivors that are on that want to talk about their story live, and it gives you a chance to interact with them. We have a lot of live things coming up over the next 2-3 weeks. So click the bell. And we're going to get more into why you should subscribe later. So let's get started. Let's go right into Medical Monday. All right. This past Medical Monday, we were talking about the fact that we've sprung forward. We had our spring forward. We all lost that morning hour, but we gained it towards the end of the day where we have an extra moment of sunshine and it's not getting so dark and dismal. Some of you right now losing that hour are thinking, I need an extra cup of coffee. I need some extra energy. Well, you might want to consider how that caffeine is actually impacting your body. According to Brain Fuel, the problem with energy drinks, and this kind of includes too much caffeinated coffee, is that people of all ages are consuming energy drinks and their popularity just keeps growing. But while it's intended to boost energy and concentration and alertness, they don't work better than other natural alternatives and come with some significant issues like energy drinks can cause heart problems. Heart stop. They can cause heart problems. Energy drinks have resulted in heart problems requiring emergency room visits. They also increase blood pressure and decrease blood vessel function. In addition, over 20,000 emergency visits are associated with energy drinks in the U.S. each year. That's a lot. Consider that 1 cup of coffee has approximately 95 milligrams of caffeine as compared to, are you ready for this? Celsius Sparkling has 200 milligrams of caffeine in that one same equivalent. Maybe it's a little bit more than, an 8-ounce cup of coffee. It's closer to 16, but it also has all this other added stuff in it. And other than increasing your heart rate and potentially increasing your blood pressure, it could potentially damage your gut bacteria, create brain fog, and this is all potential kidney damage. It's not guaranteed, but it is potential, okay? 95 milligrams cup of coffee. Monster in a 16-ounce has 160 milligrams. So if we're comparing cup of coffee 16 ounces, which I'm not sure if it was 16 or 8 ounces, you're going to almost be a little bit the same, possibly more. But this also can cause heart disease. It can cause obesity. It can cause blood clots. These are all things to talk about. Red Bull, 111 milligrams in this little teeny can. And it's now has a lot of aspartame, which is evidently illegal in Europe. Diabetes, heart disease, anxiety. Dunkin' iced coffee, 186 milligrams of caffeine in this with 40 grams of added sugar. 98% of it is artificially sweetened and has inorganic coffee. It can cause weight gain. It can cause brain fog, potentially cause kidney damage and diabetes. And then we look at Double Shot Energy by Starbucks, 135 milligrams. Can cause high blood pressure, cognitive inflammation, artery inflammation. These are all possibilities. Talk to your physician before you decide to take these added extra drinks. I mean, as a matter of fact, didn't we just hear recently there was an article in the news from Panera that had these supercharged lemonades, and more than one person died drinking these charged lemonades because they didn't realize how charged they were with caffeine, and they had underlying heart condition issues, and they died, and they were young. So all of these extra fancy special drinks that you feel you really need to have that boost, try to find a natural alternative. Try to see if you can do more exercise, if you can get better sleep. whatever you feel you need, if you really feel you're dragging, and if it potentially is a medicine issue or a medical issue, talk to your physicians and definitely talk to them before you consume any kind of product like this. Your physicians might be actually able to help you with increasing your energy levels throughout the day through a regime of exercise, diet, and different types of medication or modification of your lifestyle. But don't turn to this without letting somebody know that you're on it. Okay. Just food for thought. I'm not a physician, I'm just a person. But I will tell you that we had a board member that prior to dissecting, prior to his life being involved in this, did a lot of those Red Bulls and vodka. He was a bartender. And then he had an aortic dissection and ended up consequently losing half of both of his feet due to malperfusion of blood flow. And they believe it was a direct link to drinking these types of drinks and not knowing that there was underlying issues. So it's a simple thing that you can choose to do or not to do. And I would hope that you would take a moment of pause and consider not to and talk to your doctors. Medical Monday. It's doozy. It's a doozy to start off with, right?
I have to agree. I can't imagine having that much caffeine in my system at one time. I feel like that's preposterous. Okay.
It's insane. Yeah.
And I had like one of my very close friends. I used to make fun of him being addicted to coffee because he's one of those like 12 cups of coffee a day people.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, Jesus, I stopped drinking caffeine in the afternoon. Like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I will have no more coffee. And I only have like 2 to 3 cups a day.
Yeah.
Right. And even still, like, is that too much? I don't know.
I mean, if you don't drink it and you start suffering physically, headaches, stuff like that, jittery stuff, then maybe it is too much. And maybe you need to weigh it down with half decaf. I'm an iced tea drinker, 100%. Love my iced tea.
How much sugar do you put in that iced tea?
I usually put in like stevia, probably 2 in a very big container. I'll drop 2 in there.
You can't switch that to honey? Is that not a better alternative
Splenda.
for you?
Probably. It's not so much the sugar that I ever give any consideration to.
The
it's the amount of caffeine that could be in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I do love Snapple zero sugar peach tea, but there's definite caffeine in there. And I'm like you. I mean, I just can't do it with dinner. And sometimes I do want something that has a little flavor, but
I mean, that's,
can't.
Beer and other things are for.
Well,
Hi,
for me,
Velda.
it would be like ginger ale or something like that. Hi, Velda. Like ginger ale that doesn't really have,
Even
a non-caffeinated, sweet little sparkly something.
Yeah, even still, if you're having problems with sleep, don't drink caffeine in the afternoon, and you'll find a little bit of help there. Also, if you want to hack your sleep patterns, go outside first thing in the morning. Like before you do anything else, just go outside just for a bit, just breathe in the air, keep your eyes open, and then when you walk back in, your brain is going to be like, this was morning, and it'll start that circadian clock.
Yeah,
but don't mainline caffeine.
No.
And this is why people who have dogs have a life hack, because I mean, you walk that dog in the morning, you're out in the morning, right? And that's super helpful.
My husband's up 5:30, 6 o'clock. Doesn't matter what time of year. 5:30. Got to get the dog out. After my dissection, I threw away the alarm clock because I wasn't falling asleep some nights. Like last night, 2 o'clock in the morning, your mind gets thinking. I mean, and he'll say, "Just calm your mind." I'm like, if it was that easy, I'd be sleeping great every night. But sometimes I get into bed, even if my phone's off, and I just lay there, and you're like, yeah, sleep's not happening for about another 3 hours. So phone goes on, and then when I fall asleep with the phone and it's on me, resting on me, then I, put it down and, wake up 8:30, 9 o'clock. I wake up when my eyes open. That's how it works.
Oh, I hear you. One other thing was shared with me when I was troubleshooting my sleep. Just don't read in bed if you're a reader.
Okay.
Don't read in bed, because now you're associating reading with that position that you're going to be in. Right. And so some people that toss and turn are also the kind of people that read books in bed and constantly toss and turn because their left shoulder's, bored of holding the book open and they roll over.
Right.
And that was me all through high school, just reading in bed. And when I stopped reading in bed, it was easier for me to just turn things off and get to sleep.
I'm a physician. So if as soon as I get into like get all snuggly on my right side, like even if I'm watching TV, I usually will fall asleep. So I know that if I switch beds or rooms, as soon as I get back on that side, I usually should be able to fall asleep. But if there's any deviation, it's all over. It's all over. No, no bueno.
Yeah. Anything else than caffeine to substitute for that?
No caffeine. Yeah. Have a cup of tea. Do something decaffeinated if you need that before you go to bed.
Drink
the warm
water.
Liquid sometimes
Just
nice.
Drink water.
Or have water. Yeah.
Oh, you know what else? Right. One more thing on that sleep thing. Magnesium.
Yes. I take it every night now before I go to bed, and it is started to help. It definitely has made an impact for sure.
I just learned about that the other day, and I was like shocked.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Topic Tuesday. Okay. We're going to talk about the aorta and the body because that's what we do on Topic Tuesdays. Some of you have recently seen what we posted, what we knew about actually in January, and we did recently post this a couple weeks ago. The European and American experts have come together to draft a new set of guidelines for the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the aorta. And these guidelines actually represent a historic day, as for the first time, the aorta is now considered to be an independent organ. And we're going to find out a little bit more about why this is exciting and what this means for all of us as patients. So in the words of the authors themselves, the medical and scientific community, they've come to realize that the aortic organ serves a unique and integral function. Oh, I can't speak today. Integral function. See, if you laugh, then I'm going to lose it. They've come to realize that the aortic organ serves a unique and integral function that makes it stand out from the heart and other blood vessels in the body. So in recognizing this importance, it's important for doctors to have updated understanding of the aorta's anatomy, its function, and the different diseases and conditions that can actually affect it. So here is a recommendation table. And basically it says there's different classes, there's different levels. And here's a recommendation. So it is recommended to view, interpret, and treat the aorta in the context of an organ, whereby diagnosis, treatment, and surveillance should be approached with this perspective. And it gives you more evidence of ways to reference this again as being an organ. So with this viewpoint, the authors go on to discuss various components of aortic management in the document, including imaging, how to define disease throughout the aorta, and the appropriate thresholds for intervention. So one highlight from the document was the experts' Class 1 recommendation to standardize the reporting of extent of aortic disease by using Ishimaro zones. And we've talked about zones before, and I'm probably butchered that name, and I apologize. But this will actually help doctors precisely describe what is wrong with me. And I am just like, bloop, bloop. Thank God
that was a good
recorded.
One. That was a good one.
Prescribedly. So these zones will allow doctors to precisely describe, it's a good one, how far along the aorta an aneurysm or dissection extends by using predefined zones relative to the location and branches coming off the aorta. So we have talked about this before. Here's a picture. So you've got zone 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth, 5, all the way down into the abdominal where it branches off into the iliacs. Some other highlights from the new guidelines include the following. In patients with complicated type B aortic dissection and amenable anatomy, a TVAR is recommended. That's great. That's great to just have that stated. When you have this is what they're recommending. And in patients presenting with acute type A dissection, emergency surgery with exclusion or resection of the primary entry tear in the ascending aorta and arch is recommended. Genetic testing is recommended in patients under 60 years old with thoracic aortic disease, family history of thoracic aortic disease, arterial aneurysms in other segments, and those with syndromes that predispose them to aortic disease. Aortic repair is recommended for asymptomatic thoracoabdominal aneurysms greater than 55 millimeters or 5.5 centimeters. Surgery can be considered for ascending aortic aneurysms irrespective of size if they are producing symptoms and non-aortic causes of those symptoms have been ruled out. So that's the basics. That's the beginning. This article came from Duke, but from Adam. And Duke is joining back in now again this week. We should be dissecting and diving into this a little bit more because these zones, again, because it's an organ, the idea behind this is each zone is going to have its own diagnosis, way of diagnosing it, way of treating it, which is in some ways makes things, I would think, a little bit streamlined. You pinpoint to a better type of therapy depending on what's happening in these different areas. So it's no longer going to be, am I having surgery? Am I not having surgery? I feel like it's going to turn into, if I'm in this zone and this is what's happened, then this is what happens. It sounds like everything's going to be much more definitive because they decided to make this be an organ. So even with the butchering, it's still exciting. A lot of information, but as they delve into this, Duke and Adam, we're going to learn a lot more. So it's an exciting day for those of us that love our aortas. Should be all of you. And on another topic, we have some very exciting news about Duke. Okay, so if you guys know, we had Adam, third-year med student, and Duke, who was our fourth-year med student, except Duke matched, and he is going to be a resident at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. So we're so excited for him. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
He's so amazing. So he will be moving soon to California to do work with some amazing thoracic surgeons over there and just start being able to lay some hands on patients and start saving some lives. And he's still going to be working with us to help educate all of you on Topic Tuesday posts. But matching is a big deal. And matching to someplace like that is an even bigger deal. So congratulations, Duke, on all your hard work. Paid off.
We love it. We love you, Duke. Good job.
Love you, Duke. All right. Now we've got a lot of welcomes. So just parlaying off of Duke, we are here to welcome Samantha Colon. All right. She is our new social media administrator focusing on medical topics and the mental health effects of aortic disease. I'm going to read you what Samantha had to say about herself. So Samantha Colon is a dedicated second-year medical student enrolled in a rigorous 7-year combined BS MD program at the, is it pronounced CUNY? Is that how you pronounce it?
Your guess is as good as mine.
CUNY. School of Medicine. She is passionate about healthcare quality and is interested in cardiothoracic surgery. Born and raised in a family that values education and service, Samantha's journey in medicine began with a desire to make a tangible impact on people's lives. Samantha's commitment to improving access to care has driven her involvement in research projects aimed at understanding and overcoming barriers that impede patients' ability to receive timely and quality healthcare. Definitely somebody we need on our side of the court here. Her recent research sheds light on potential healthcare it's a bad day to speak today. Her recent research sheds light on potential healthcare inequalities that congenital heart disease patients face based on their race and socioeconomic status. Additionally, Samantha is interested in minimally invasive treatments for structural heart disease. Samantha believes that quality. Josh, what is wrong with my mouth today? I am not speaking well. Samantha believes that quality and equitable healthcare begins with education. She is honored to be involved with Aortic Hope and looks forward to providing awareness, education, and support to those affected by aortic disease. Please welcome Samantha Colon.
Welcome, Samantha. Hurrah.
You know what it is? It's because I haven't slept for like 2 nights. I'm like tongue-tied. I'm not reading in bed, I promise. All right. So we're so super excited. So she's actually going to start off with us every other week doing a Medical Monday and throwing in information about Therapeutic Thursday. She begins actually in April. So she's working on collecting some ideas now. When I last spoke to her, she was studying for an exam. So hopefully all of that went well. And this is a referral from Adam. So it's very exciting, finding more medical students that want to get involved and start thinking aorta so early on and helping us really become educated from a perspective that's very easy to understand. All right, but moving on to some other exciting things. What just happened to my screen? There it is. So recently, what we've really come to realize and understand is that while we are a globally recognized organization, our friends up here, part of North America and Canada, have some specialized needs. Their healthcare system is very different than ours. And if you think about the scope and scale of Canada, the majority of people tend to live closer towards, the border, in the city areas, but they only maybe like 5 of what we would call aortic centers, 5 well-known established centers in all of their different provinces across east to west of Canada. Well, what happens if you're somebody that's not in the higher populated areas and you need to be transported to a regional medical center? They have basically one shot at thinking aorta. And if you're, meet these criteria, or if you have family medical history. So everybody gets this one shot to kind of hit it out of the park, because if they send you home because they undiagnosed you, there's no guarantee that you're going to make it back for that second time and then still have to be transported to the right hospital who performs surgery. So it's kind of challenging. I do hear that there's phenomenal doctors there. It's just we need more people, right, to think about the aorta, so that when presented with that undiagnosed patient with chest pain, that they ask a little bit more probing questions, do a little bit more hands-on diagnostic testing, like checking blood pressure in both ankles or wrists, and determine it, if that patient needs to get in for a CT scan. We need to spread that message a little bit more. So Think Aorta is going to be launching in Canada in April. We're very excited about that. And because of that, we needed to really beef up our services a little bit more in order to offer support to those patients that are going to be hopefully diagnosed with aortic disease, or be ready to be supported if they, have had an aortic dissection. So with that, we opened up the Aortic Hope private forum for Canada on Facebook, and we have 3 new volunteers who are going to be working with us to provide these services to the Canadians, basically. And that will include a support group meeting that begins the first Wednesday of every month starting in April. So our first volunteer that we're so excited is with us now watching is Velda McKenzie. So she's the Aortic Hope Canadian team member, and she's going to be a director of support services, Canada. Her focus will be as a co-moderator of the online support groups and the meetings that we offer. And here's what she had to say about herself. I hope I don't butcher it as bad as I butchered Samantha's. My name is Velda McKenzie. I live in Prince Edward Island. I used to work as a patient care worker at a psychiatric hospital and also worked as a fitness trainer. I did not know that about you, Velda. I have a daughter, a son, and 4 beautiful and talented grandkids. In February 2020, I had bad pain in my upper back. My left arm was numb and my neck was very painful. I thought it might be my heart, so I chewed 2 aspirin, but I kept fainting. I live with my best friend, Bella, my dog, and it was just the 2 of us at home. I had my cell phone in my pocket and called 911. I also called my good friend, Kelly, who lives close by. I'm excited to be part of both Aortic Hope and Think Aorta Canada. Aortic Hope gives me hope by giving me the opportunity to be with others who have aortic disease. I feel it is my responsibility as an aortic dissection survivor to let as many people know about aortic dissection as possible and to help them be aware of the consequences, because it changes your life. I'd especially like to thank Karen Sue Anderson, that's me, for all she does with her endless energy and caring. She is my inspiration. Let's welcome Velda. Oh, you're very sweet, Velda. That was a very sweet message.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
You're crying. And you get to cry, and you get to cry, and you get to cry. Well, we're super excited. That's just going to be awesome to have her as a co-moderator of these support groups, because she does such a great job when she participates with all of our activities. All right, and her co-partner in crime is Martha Morris. We're so excited to have Martha as well. Martha is going to be on the Aortic Hope Canadian team as a director of support services. Her focus is going to be as a co-moderator with Velda for the online support group meetings. And here's what Martha had to say. Martha is from Ontario, Canada, a writer and retired teacher. She suffered an emergent thoracic aortic dissection and multiple strokes in early November 2019. An Aortic Hope Forum for Canadians is an important opportunity for people living with aortic disease in Canada to develop community and help each other navigate in this country's healthcare system. She's excited to be part of the forum as it grows and extends a hand to survivors across the nation from sea to sea to sea. Please welcome Martha. Welcome, Martha.
We love Martha.
Love Martha. Love
One of my favorite things about Martha is she is in an online writing group where they just kind of They get together on like a Zoom call, and they are just all holding each other accountable for writing in whatever period of time that is. And I was like, that is genius.
She should be on a writing group because they're going to write the aortic dissection, the patient guide. Canada, she should consider jumping on board and being one of the writers. She could probably organize that.
100% she should.
Absolutely. But we're not done welcoming people. We got more people. I'm lining them up next week. I don't know what's happened. All of a sudden, it's a wonderful feeling, especially as we're going into Global Volunteer Month in April. It's so wonderful. I can't wait to talk about everybody that volunteers on a consistent basis with Aortic Hope in April. That's what I'm hoping to be able to put together some focus days and information about people to refamiliarize the community. But before we even do that, let's just get into our next volunteer we have to talk about. And that is Rebecca Wiseman. Okay, picture. There we go. It needed a minute. That's Rebecca Wiseman. She is going to be another member of the Aortic Hope Canadian team. She's our new social media administrator. Her focus will be to moderate the Aortic Hope Canadian private forum and create content and share applicable articles and events from our main page. And here's what she has to say. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be able to volunteer my time and was given the wonderful opportunity to join Aortic Hope in the Aortic Hope Dream Team Canadian Edition. I remember back when I dissected in 2015, I was so lost. There wasn't many groups, and the ones that were around were not around me. I've been asked many times to help out in the groups, but it was never the right time or place yet for me. As I watched groups grow and expand, I was so excited to have one close to home. Thank you, Karen Anderson and your team. So a bit about me. I'm originally an Ontario gal, born in Ottawa, then moved to a little town called Schreiber at the top of Lake Superior, 2 hours east of Thunder Bay. This is where I spent my childhood. Then at some point I landed out in Alberta, and I've been out here ever since. My hubby and I have been together 22 years, and I have one child together with a fur baby. I have 3 children and 3 bonus children who have all successfully made it to adulthood. In 2015, I spent 6 weeks in the ICU. I dissected from my left subclavian to past both iliacs. I have a thoraco-abdominal, that word's going to be hard on me today, aneurysm that developed from my dissection. Then in 2018, both my iliacs became aneurysmal. My dissection triggered a domino effect in me and created so many issues, from hypertension, hypothyroidism, renal failure, adrenal issues, kidney failure, fibromyalgia, PTSD, vasculitis, HEDS. And that's pretty much her story. So she obviously has a quite extensive history and understanding of problems that come out of having aortic disease and an aortic issue. So let's welcome Rebecca. So excited.
Welcome,
Rebecca.
She's been killing
it. Already on those posts, sharing stuff. They all keep sharing the dissection, aortic dissection, the patient guide. And that's great. But I keep telling them, you guys are going to get your own guide. It's coming. It's coming. I mean, 90% of it's the same probably, but a lot of it is going to be really good information to understand the nuances and differences that happen in Canada. So I'm just so excited to see all of these things really start to unfold. It's time. It's important. And I'm glad that Aortic Hope will be able to be there to, help support all of the new patients that come on board. So thank you, Rebecca, for assisting with us. All right. That leads us to our next Survivor series that happened this week. And this was featuring Kesha Jones. And this is a really interesting story. She really talks a lot about what she experienced when she initially was having her event, all of the pain that she felt, and then of course the voice that you hear in your head. That's like, all right, we got an issue here. It's very interesting, the information that she shares, and it's just a different perspective on the details. Sometimes we get people that want to share a lot of very specific details, and sometimes it's a little bit more general information. But she did end up going to Maimonides Medical Center, which is where Dr. Ben Udelman, who is one of our clinical coordinators and consults here where he works. So it's just very interesting to learn about just about her perspective and what she was able to remember in this. And I love when somebody's brave enough to share this information. So if you get a chance, check out her story. It's pretty interesting. And we would love to hear from you. So if we've not heard your story yet, whether you're telling it from the survivor's perspective or caregiver's perspective, or even if you've lost somebody to aortic disease, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your story, because for those of us that are listening, it's very validating to parts of our own story. It also gives us sometimes things we might want to talk to our physicians about. You bring up ideas and in your care that maybe we might want to apply to our own care. And I think it's also very therapeutic for people sometimes just to get it down in writing, get their story down, and have an opportunity to share it with others. It's therapeutic for them too. So be a shining star in someone's life and sign up for this Survivor Series. That's that. We're moving along here. We're moving into a thank you. We're immensely grateful to everyone that donates to us at any particular given time. What people don't realize is we get excited over every dollar amount, because 100% of that amount goes back into being able to service our community. But we're especially grateful now recently for a generous grant that came from AHTV, and they gave us a contribution that's going to support and advance our efforts in supporting individuals who have aortic disease through the distribution of Aortic Dissection, the patient guide. And we just wanted to thank them for their commitment to this cause. So thank you. And there's another event happening in the community tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 19th, through a community member, Bruce Waldrop. He is hosting a fundraiser at a Texas Roadhouse in St. Charles, Missouri, from 3 to 8 p.m. If you show up with a copy of the flyer that is all over the Facebook pages right now, you'll be able to have a portion of your sale of the evening and what you purchase in food will be donated back to Aortic Hope. There's so many easy ways if you want to make an impact and help us continue to help others by just doing some easy fundraisers, like at a yogurt shop or Panera offers them, have a bowling event, have a mini golf event, have a bunch of people show up at a movie. So many places want to offer to give a percentage of sales back to a nonprofit. Just reach out to us, send us an email at info@aortichope.org. We'll have Terry Cook, our director of fundraising, reach back out to you and give you some of the greatest, most fun ideas, simple, easy ways that you can contribute to fundraising for Aortic Hope as well. But thank you to AHTV for this generous grant. Okay. This is the friendly reminder. All right. March 14th. Just keep in mind, I went live with Tara Cohen. And for those of you that had your bell clicked on, you got notified about it. You knew. You were like, oh, bell went off. Something's happening over on Aortic Hope's YouTube channel. So this is what I need you guys to do. We have started a collaborative contest with Lawrence Hope ID. So if you want a chance at winning a $100 gift card from Lawrence Hope and a $100 gift card from us to our Hope Shop, these are the 3 things you need to do. You need to subscribe to both of our channels on YouTube. There's a link right there. Just click on it, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell. You'll be notified when any organization goes live or there's a new video. You have to like the video that we did when we went live with Tara on March 14th. There's a really great picture of her. It's right up in the front, Tara Cohen. It's very easy to find. Like that video, and then go in and leave a comment. Just leave us a comment in that video. It's 3 little simple rules, and then you're automatically entered for your chance to win. I even included the link here for you to go ahead and find the video, but it's easy for you to find. And just leave a comment in the chat. Once we've been able to verify that you've done all of that, you are officially entered into this contest. It runs until Thursday, the 21st, and we will announce who the big winner is on Friday, the 22nd. So I'm going to keep reminding all of you. It's very easy. It's very simple. And it's a great video. We had so much fun. There's so many new products that they are launching right now, from dog tag keychains to dog tag necklaces to sporty bracelets and rubber band bracelets and beautiful sparkly mother of pearl inlaid things. And then we had a trivia contest, and she spanked my butt again. But that's okay. One of these days, I'll get her back good. It'll happen. I like myself.
I like how I was like, we're going to utilize chat and just wait for me to give you the go so you can enter it at the same time. And she was like, nope.
She's just typing away, and I'm
points,
still like, let me think.
Points.
I mean, it didn't matter. She had them all right anyway. You have to remember, we're close enough in age, but far enough away that she would remember more about Legally Blonde or Mean Girls, and I would remember more about like Cats and like Chorus Line. We're just in different decade, I think. That's all right. I'll get her one of these days. Let's talk about some events, some things we got going on. All right. So, I can't believe it's already the 18th. It's unbelievable. Look, tomorrow night, Tuesday, the 19th, we have an Ask a Doctor event. And this is kind of cool because we're doing it on Facebook with Dr. Prakash. So what this means is at 6:30 p.m., you're going to look for a pinned post at the top of our Facebook page that has Dr. Prakash's face, and it says Ask a Doctor. And in the comments, you can put questions live, real time. He will be answering them. So remember, this is a public page. Whatever your name is that you've got up on social media, your question will be right there. So if you want to ask an anonymous question, there is a link in this post that allows you to complete a form so we can ask the questions for you in written format on Facebook. Simultaneously, Terry Cook and I will be on YouTube reading these questions out loud and the response. We're not going to read the name of the person, but we're just going to read the question and read Dr. Prakash's response to the question. Now, the important thing here to remember is the Ask a Doctor sometimes goes on for 2 hours or more. The YouTube Live is only going to go on for the first hour. It's important to understand that the information that you're hearing is just, it's not even really a second opinion because he doesn't have your medical record. So he's doing the best he can in giving a generalized answer to your very personal question. So you have to take it kind of with that grain of salt. Take the information you're hearing back to your own physician and discuss it with him or her and let you continue making your own medical decisions. Collaboratively with your physician. Okay. Simple questions like, what does this medication do? That's an answer. You don't need to consult with anybody else. But anything about yourself, you need to take with a grain of salt and use it as a tool to have conversations with your own physician. Okay. That is happening on the 19th. Then we have I don't know why it says class 1. It is our second class of March with Chef Rob and his wife, Mindy Seltzer, our aortic dietitian. What are they doing without me clicking on it this week? Do you remember?
Not only do I remember, I changed the title of it. Now I have to go look.
Okay.
And it is Middle East and North African recipes.
Yes, you changed it because it was a very interesting title. Yeah, this should be a really interesting class. Watching, I just can't even imagine the spices. I'm so hungry right now. Yeah, it's probably going to be very, very good and very different and interesting. So if you can attend that is on Wednesday, the 20th at 6 p.m. Drop a comment, obviously share it. If you subscribe and you click the bell, you're going to be notified when this is going to happen. See, there's a pattern here to this subscription stuff. But check it out. And if you can't attend at 6, you can always attend later because it's being recorded. Then we have a hangout happening on the 21st. And hangouts are different than support group meetings. They are truly much more relaxed and you're just hanging out, but you got to sign up with the same link you would for support group meetings. So you're kind of going to be notified about support group meetings as well. But hangouts, again, are an opportunity for you to just jump in anytime. You don't have to be there when it starts at 2 because people talk for like 5-6 hours. Jump in anytime if you're looking for a relaxed atmosphere, just hanging out with some like-minded people. Then on the Saturday, the 23rd, I'm about to put up the link. I will be going live on YouTube and on a radio station out of San Francisco at 2 p.m. Eastern with Kim McNicholas. She's going to talk with me a little bit about kind of just taking my life from pre-dissection, post-dissection, and how I did. I worked really hard to create something really for myself because it was lacking in the community, and realized how important it was to make what I needed accessible to everybody because I knew that they needed it as well. So it's just an interesting story. I did not start off doing it alone. I've never done it alone. I wouldn't be able to do it alone. The only reason that Aortic Hope is really successful, and it's, how do you determine success? Well, we can do it when we see that people are thriving, not just surviving. And then we know we're doing something right. But I could never do it without everybody that's volunteers and is part of the organization. So interesting story. Can't wait to see what kind of questions she's going to ask me. I don't know. I think I like better being in the question asker person role, the interviewer, than the receiving. I have to be on the spot real quick and think, and then they can make you cry, and that's like a whole other thing. But all right, then we've got
you did very good on Jennifer Fernjacks.
Was I in control really well?
I'm just saying she's
fun.
They're both fun.
Not that Kim's not fun.
Yeah.
But you just never know. But, come on. Kim's an Emmy Award-winning journalist person. Like, I'm a little bit nervous here.
Yeah, I would be too.
I think I was more nervous to interview her, she's probably thinking, I would never ask that question. And why are you, you know what I mean? Why are you making that face? And I don't know. But she was so fun. She was so fun to talk with. It was great. Then we've got Qigong. That happens every Sunday at 11 a.m.
And by the way, the numbers on Qigong are nearly double than when they were in the Thursday slot.
That's that's good to try.
Now, here's the thing. So Kevin originally, he wanted to do this, and he kind of picked Thursday. And so after the first few weeks, he was like, I just feel like it would be better if we could do this in the morning, because I feel like I'm toward the end of my rope. And so he was testing it out, trying to figure out when a good time would be for him. And you can see that he's a little bit more energetic in the morning anyhow, just,
And so are we. We probably are too, which is great. All right. Then we have our end of the month virtual support group meeting on Wednesday, the 27th. So that's the last Wednesday of every month, first Tuesday of every month. Tuesdays are at noon, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. I don't know if we have a guest speaker, but sometimes people pop in just to, physicians or clinicians come in. We always have our hangout again at 2 o'clock and then another Qigong. So that is pretty much it for March. We're going to start posting soon all of our April events. And it's kind of it. Kind of where we're at.
I think you're going to do great Saturday.
Oh, thank you. I have to keep remembering. Yeah. We're really excited. There's a lot of stuff going on. We've got Orioles game fundraiser, which we sold out tickets. That's April 12th. We're We're going to New York City for the Aortic Symposium in April for 4 days. So another opportunity for us to kind of go on this book tour and share the guide in a very specific type of conference, which is, circled and centered around aortic issues. It's not thoracic, which was the last one we were at, which is anything in the chest. So you've got esophagus, lungs, heart, the whole thing. This is specifically for aorta and aortic related issues. So it's pretty busy, And we're also supposed to take a virtual reality tour through my aorta one day in April. Yeah, me too. I'm going to have my gallbladder out in April, so I will bring back some pictures of what that looks like, because why not? That's kind of fun. What else? That's all I can think of right now. Next thing you know, it'll be May in time for bingo. I mean, it's just flying by. It's flying by. But it's good. It's good times. Good times. All right, guys.
This is an interesting statistic also that we have.
What is it?
In all of 2024, our YouTube numbers, we have met half of those getting into March.
Already.
Wow. Of the entire history of the YouTube channel, we're pulling in 1/5 of the total time.
In the first 3 months.
In the first 3 months of 2024.
Pretty amazing.
Right? Gotta love those subscribers. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Shua. All right, guys. That's all I got. It was a big week of a lot of accolades. And look, there's going to be a couple more people announced because we've got a couple more volunteers up our sleeves that are really hunkering to jump in, including some people from the West Coast. We had a great big meeting with a lot of people who want to volunteer to really expand and make an impact on the West Coast. And we're super excited about bringing these people on board and seeing how we're going to just increase presence at the hospitals, get more physicians thinking aorta, more of them aware of our patient awareness posters, and funneling more patients to us for support group meetings and all the different types that we offer. And then, of course, that means we have to have a nice big fundraiser and a meetup, right, in California. And, I should really be there. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that happens in early 25. I'm hoping that it does. I love having a chance. Everywhere I go, I always look to see if there's people in the community that I can meet up with and say hi to. I just find that to be so fun. So
right, because you're already doing that later this year or coming up soon.
Next week, heading off to Alabama.
Yeah.
Going to meet up with Diane Bishop at Aortic Health Unlimited, because you can't say it without a country slang if you're talking about that. And Sean Nicole, who's volunteers with us doing our Wacky Wednesday posts, but she's also on the board of Think Aorta. So she's heading over from Louisiana. And I'm going to experience a very Southern Girls Week, Wednesday through Sunday. I think I'm a little out of my element, but we'll see.
Oh,
See how I do.
You don't know this, but you're a Southern girl.
I am?
Yeah. Maryland is in the South.
I don't feel like I'm Southern. Well, it's fine because my parents are from New York.
That might be why.
Could be. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, bell, comment, subscribe to Lawrence Hope, and go to that post and comment, and you're in. Like, it's so easy. So you're already subscribing. You're clicking things. Just take another second and click something else, right? And then click and say hi on a chat. Say anything. Doesn't matter. But thank you so much for being here today. And we will see you on our next event, which is going to be tomorrow night, the 19th. So check out the Ask a Doctor. And thank you again. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.